Welcome to the channel again. You are watching my YouTube channel Bachelor and Master English. Today we are talking about a short story by Indian writer who mostly wrote in English. The writer is R.K.Narayan and his title of the story is An Astrologer's Day. In our today's discussion, we shall be focusing on introduction of this story at a glance. There will be summary, the theme of the story, the analysis will be made, character analysis, and there will be reader's review. I am sure you will accompany me till the end of this video. As usual, my repeated request to my viewers and my supporters, please subscribe my channel, and if you think this video is worth watching, share among your friends and fellows, and I again request you, don't forget to drop a like if you watch it. Okay, so here we go with the introduction. This is Astrologer's Day by R.K. Narayan, Indian writer writing in English. This was first published in the Hindu newspaper, later it was published in the Malgudi Stories. It was published in 1947. The genre is short story, thriller, suspense, and here the plot is a fake astrologer takes up the judge of fortune telling on the side of a busy street. He makes people believe on his prediction. One evening, a client comes and challenges the astrologer with fears being identified as a fraud, recognizes a person whom he had stabbed and left for dead in the well is still alive. He confesses his wife that he had almost killed a man. Now the man is alive, and the charge that I would have been uh, accused as the criminal is over. Now he is free. The theme here is the irony of fate, religion and blind faith, crime and punishment, human greed, and karma, tit for tat. The characters in the story, there are no more characters here. Astrologer is the principal character. Guru Nayak is his client, and he is presented as antagonistic character, and astrologer's wife. These are the three characters. Okay, so here we go with the summary. An Astrologer's Day is a short story about an astrologer who knows nothing about the stars or astrology. He is not an astrologer by profession, but he was led into it by circumstances that forced him to leave his village, where, if he had stayed, he would have settled down to a life of tilling the land. He was a practical knowledge of he had the practical knowledge of the common problems of people, marriage, money, and tangles of human ties. His sharp eyes, used to scanning for customers or clients, make people believe he has an unusual ability to tell people's fortune. The townspeople believe his prediction because of his study, practice, and shrewd guesswork. One day, all of a sudden, he beholds a man standing in front of him. In the exchange of the talk that ensues, the client, Guru Nayak, responds with a challenging. Would the astrologer tell him whether he, Guru Nayak, will be successful in a search he is carrying out, returning double the fee he has paid if prediction cannot be made. The astrologer then catches a glimpse of Nayak's face, previously shrouded in darkness. After some haggling, the astrologer tells the man he had been stabbed through the chest and left for dead in a well, and that now Guru Nanak is here searching for his assailant. He even reveals that he knows Guru Nanak's name, something he attributes to his cosmic wisdom. Guru Nanak is greatly excited by all of this, believing the astrologers to truly be all knowing. He wanted to know the whereabouts of the man who stabbed him to take his revenge. At this, the clever and cunning astrologer tells him that an oncoming lorry crushed him to death several months ago. Prostrated Guru Nanak feels satisfied, at least his attacker died terribly. The impressed client gives an astrologer his money, although it was not permitted or promised sum, and lives. Meanwhile, the astrologer wants him not to travel to the part of the country again. That night, astrologer arrives home late. He shows his wife the money he has made, he has earned, he has collected. Even so, his wife is thrilled to hear that. That night, the astrologer's wife asks where he had been or why he had been so late, and he tells her that a great burden has been lifted off his shoulder, confessing he had tried to kill the man, that Guru Nanak, years ago, and this man is still alive, and he goes to sleep. That night he must have very nice dream. Okay, this is the summary of the story in English. Now let's talk about the story in Nepali. ज्योतिषको एक दिन R.K. नारायणको एउटा चर्चित कथा हो। अब विद्यालय, विश्वविद्यालय, महाविद्यालय जहाँसुकै यसको चाहिँ लगभग विभिन्न कक्षाहरूमा पढाउने गरी यसलाई पाठ्यवस्तुमा समावेश गरिएको छ। सोही त्यो पढाइको तह अनुसार, विद्यार्थीको क्षमता अनुसार, त्यही अनुसारको चाहिँ यसको चर्चा, त्यही पाराको चर्चा गर्ने गरिएको हुनाले हाम्रो कोर्समा कक्षा 11 को, अहिले कक्षा 11 को अनिवार्य अङ्ग्रेजीको पाठ्यक्रममा पनि यो समावेश भएको र यो हामी चाहिँ त्यसको चर्चा गर्न गइरहेछौँ। अब ज्योतिष विद्याको कुरा छ। यहाँ ज्योतिष विद्या एउटा भाग्यको खेल बताउने माध्यम हो। प्राचीन बेबिलोनियाबाट सुरु भएको यो भाग्य बताउने भनेर मानिएको ज्ञान ग्रिस, चीन, भारत र प्राचीन रोम सहित विभिन्न संस्कृतिहरूमा प्रचलनमा छ। यहाँ हाम्रो कथा ज्योतिषको एक दिन R.K. नारायणको एक चर्चित कथा मानेर अक्सर अब यसलाई चाहिँ हामीले यहाँ चर्चा गर्दैछौँ। यसको प्राज्ञिक चर्चा हामीले यहाँ गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। अब कसरी मानिसले हाम्रो समाजमा मानिसहरूको दिमाग चाटेका छन्, सर्वसाधारण मानिसहरू अब लाई चाहिँ कसरी मान्छेले उल्लु बनाउँदै आफ्नो आर्थिक आर्जन गर्न लागेका छन् भन्ने कुरालाई यस कथाले प्रश्न पार्न सक्छ। अब कसरी नक्कली ज्योतिष एउटा जागरुक र हिम्मतिलो सेवाग्राही फेला पार्दा आफ्नो कतुत पत्ता लगाउने भयो भनेर त्रसित हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा कथाले बताउन खोजेको देखिन्छ। ज्योतिषको एक दिन कथा एउटा सनसनीपूर्ण र गुम पारिएको विषय अपराध, जुन एउटा ज्योतिष नै पहिला त्यस्तो खालको अपराधी थियो भनेर हामीले पढ्दै जाँदाखेरि हामी सोध्दाखेरि कस्तो ढोंगी चाहिँ एउटा मान्छेले ज्योतिषको काम गरिरहेको छ। यस्तो ढोंगी मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ कति ढोंगी मान्छेहरू समाजमा एउटा मान्छेको आवरणमा कसरी मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ छलछाम, छलकपट, ढाँटछल गरेर अनि मान्छेहरूलाई चाहिँ एउटा आफ्नो बसमा पारेर आफ्नो स्वार्थ मोज लुटिरहेछन्, मान्छेहरूलाई एउटा उल्लु बनाइरहेछन् भन्ने कुरा पनि यो कथामा पाइन्छ। अब यहाँ कथा अनुसार के छ त भन्दाखेरि एउटा ज्योतिष छ। ज्योतिष कुनै गाउँको एउटा पहिला जन्म भएको कुनै अर्कै ठाउँमा जन्मेको मान्छे हो। ऊ त्यो मालगुडी भन्ने सहरमा आएर चाहिँ त्यहाँ आएर बसेको छ। त्यहाँ आएर बस्दै जाँदाखेरि पछि उसले बिहा गर्यो। अब छोराछोरी पनि भयो उसका। अनि अब जान परिवार पाल्नको लागि उसले एउटा पेसा अपनाउन पर्ने थियो। अब सरकारी अब विभिन्न ठाउँहरूमा उसले जागिरको लागि आवेदन त दियो, तर उसले अवसर पाएन। पछि उसले अब के गर्ने त अब भन्दाखेरि त्यही सडकमा अब व्यस्त लगभग गाउँतिरको सडकको नजिकै व्यस्त हुने ठाउँमा अब अरूले जहाँ जसरी व्यापार गरिरहेछन् त्यस्तै उसले पनि सडक छेउमा चाहिँ एउटा आफ्नो ज्योतिष फल हेर्ने एउटा विद्या आफ्नो चाहिँ देखाउनको लागि चाहिँ अब नक्षत्रहरू अब चाहिँ ती पात्रो लगायतका चाहिँ अनि त्यसपछि त्यस्तै खालको गेरु वस्त्र लगाएर अनि त्यहाँबाट सबै चिजहरू चाहिँ झोलामा चाहिँ आफूसँग भए चाहिँ गरेर निकाल्ने। अनि त्यसपछि मान्छेहरूले प्रश्न सोद्धाखेरि अब त्यो सम्बन्धी विषयमा एकदम गमेर तत्काल उत्तर नदिकन गमेर एकदम सोचेर उत्तर दिएर अनि धेरै जसोको कुराहरू चाहिँ उसले एउटा साँच्चीको उसले सही विश्लेषण गर्छ भन्ने पारेको छ उसले। ऊ त्यो क्षेत्रको क्षमतावान मान्छे नहुँदै पनि मान्छेहरूले अब अघि ज्ञान छैन मान्छेहरूमा। अब यो 1947मा छापिएको कथा हो भनेपछि त्यतिखेर भारतमा बेलायती साम्राज्यको चाहिँ इस्ट इन्डिया कम्पनीले त्यहाँ राज गरिरहेको थियो। त्यही बेलाको मान्छेहरू त्यति शिक्षित हुने कुरै भएन। अब एक त भारतीयहरू स्वतन्त्र थिएनन्, अर्कोतर्फ भारतीयहरूलाई चाहिँ त्यति ज्ञानको चाहिँ कुरा थिएन। अब त्यही धेरै मान्छेहरू गाउँमा बस्ने मान्छेहरूले अब त्यस्तै अब यस्ता गेरु वस्त्र लाउने यसो नक्षत्र सक्षत्र बोकेका पात्र सात्र लिएर हिँडेका मान्छेहरू देखेपछि पक्कै पनि बाटा छेउमा बसिया छ भने अब पक्कै यसले हेराउँछ होला, यसले जानेकै होला भनेर मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ आएर आफ्नो चिना टिप्पट देखाउने, त्यस आफ्नो हात हेराउने अब गर्थे। अब त्यही अनुसार उसले त्यही अनुसार जति प्रश्न सोध्यो त्यही अनुसारको पैसा लिन्थ्यो र अनि त्यसपछि उतिखेर प्रश्नको उत्तर दिइन्थ्यो। अब यो एउटा चाहिँ नामै नभएको एउटा पात्र छ यहाँ ज्योतिष, उसको हामीलाई चाहिँ नाम थाहा छैन। अब उसले छद्म भेषमा आफ्नो ज्ञानको चाहिँ एउटा ज्ञान छ भनेर चाहिँ मान्छेलाई भ्रम पारेको छ र अनि ज्योतिष गरेर आएको हुन्छ। अब त्यो ऊ घरबाट भागेको छ, उसको अब त्यही घरमा बसिरहेका भए अब उसले चाहिँ के गर्थ्यो, उसको आफ्नो परम्परागत कृषि पक्कै नै गर्नु पर्थ्यो। अब अनि त्यो ठाउँमा उसले चाहिँ एउटा उसको आफ्नो पहिलाको एउटा साथी, अब कस्तो भन्दाखेरि खराब सङ्गत भएपछि त्यस्तो हुन्छ। खराब सङ्गत गरेछ, जाँड खाने अनि रक्सी खाने अनि त्यसपछि त्यही खाएको उसमा चाहिँ झै झगडा गर्दाखेरि एक दिन चाहिँ उसले गुरु नायक भन्ने एउटा उसँगको साथी भनौँ न, त्यतिखेरको झगडा गरे पनि उनीहरू पहिला मिलेर खान्थे, मिलेर खेल्थे। अनि त्यो साथीलाई चाहिँ के गरिदियो, त्यो शत्रु भयो त्यतिखेर। अनि त्यहाँपछि छुरी धसेर छातीमा छुरी धसेर मरोस् भनेर त्यो एउटा गाउँको चाहिँ इनार्नेर छोडेर हिँडेको थियो। अनि अब छोडेपछि अब गाउँलेले सबैले थाहा पाउँछन्। अब पछि चाहिँ अब मेरो स्वतन्त्रता हनन हुन्छ, मलाई लहर हुन्छ, म कैदी हुन्छु भन्ने सोचेर अनि ऊ डराएर त्यो ठाउँ सबै छोडेर ऊ त्यहाँ अर्कै ठाउँमा, त्यो ठाउँमा कहिले पनि नफर्कने गरी अर्कै ठाउँमा गयो। त्यहाँ जहाँ मान्छेले उसलाई चाहिँ चिन्दैन थियो त्यो ठाउँमा गएर उसले चाहिँ के गर्यो त भन्दाखेरि एउटा हेराउने ज्योतिषको रूपमा चाहिँ आफ्ना सबै चिजहरू के चिजहरू चाहिन्छ बटुल बाटुल पारेर अनि त्यसपछि हेराउन थालेपछि धेरै मान्छेहरूले उसलाई विश्वास पनि गर्न थाले। विश्वास गर्दै जाँदा उसको कमाइ राम्रो भइरहेको थियो। तर एक बेलुका चाहिँ अब साँझ पख ऊ घर जाने, उसको बत्ती पनि छैन, त्यहाँ सडक छेउमा बसिया छ। अनि एकजना मान्छे आएर ह्याट्ट उभिन्छ अनि ल मेरो यस्तो यस्तो छ, यति जानिस् भने म यति दिन्छु, नत्र भने तैँले यति तिर्नुपर्छ भनेर चाहिँ त्यहाँ शर्त बाँध्न थाल्यो। अब पहिला त ऊ डरायो, अनि पछाडि जे होला भनेर उसले हिम्मत गर्यो। अनि हिम्मत गरेपछि उसलाई चाहिँ त्यो फाप्यो पनि। किन भन्दाखेरि त्यो हेराउने र भाग्यको फल दिशा देखाउनेतिर भन्दा पनि जो मान्छेलाई चाहिँ उसले चाहिँ एउटा अपराध गरेको थियो, मार्न भनेर चाहिँ उसले त्यो चाहिँ छुरी धस्याएको थियो, जो मान्छेले उसलाई चाहिँ खोजेर हिँडिरहेको थियो त्यो मान्छे चाहिँ अहिले उसले चाहिँ हेराउने मान्छे परेछ। भाग्यवश उसले त्यो मान्छेलाई पनि चिन्यो। र त्यो जुन जसलाई चाहिँ उसले गुरु नायक भनेर चिन्यो, गुरु नायकलाई यस्तो यस्तो भएको भनेर पनि भन्यो, अब तिमी आइन्दा यो बाटोमा नहिँड्नु, यो एरियामा अथवा यो क्षेत्रमा नआउनु, यस्तो आयो भने यस्तो हुन्छ भनेर चाहिँ उसलाई बताइदियो। फेरि उसले हेराउने क्रममा अनि त्यो जो मान्छे उसलाई चाहिँ हिर्काएको छ त्यो मान्छेको बारेमा अब कहाँ गयो त भन्दाखेरि हेराउँदाखेरि त्यो मान्छे पहिल्यै मरिसक्यो। अब त्यो उसलाई चाहिँ ठुलो गाडीले चाहिँ किचेर मार्यो, मालवाहक गाडीले चाहिँ किचेर मार्यो भनेर उसलाई चाहिँ उसलाई भ्रमको खेती गरिदियो। वास्तवमा चाहिँ त्यो मालवाहक गाडीले किचेर मरेको होइन कि, त्यो अपराध गर्ने चाहिँ मान्छे त्यो ज्योतिष स्वयं त्यहीँ उसको अगाडि छ। अब उसलाई चाहिँ त्यहाँ मनै हुँ भनेर भन्दाखेरि त उसलाई त अब बदलाको भावना लिएर उसले तत्कालै चाहिँ उसको जीवन लीला समाप्त पार्ने अवस्था आउँथ्यो। त्यसो कारण अब के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि आफ्नो जीवन लीला बचाउनको लागि पनि उसले के गर्छ, त्यो मान्छेलाई, तपाईँलाई चाहिँ यसो यसो गरेको मान्छे, तपाईँको अपराधी मान्छे त्यो पहिले एउटा ठुलो गाडीले खिचेर मार्यो, उसको चाहिँ एकदम दुखान्त मृत्यु भयो। यस्तो दुखान्त मृत्यु भएको सुनेपछि त ऊ त खुसी भयो, उसले आफैले बदला लिने खोजेको थियो, तर जसरी भए पनि उसको चाहिँ त्यसरी मृत्यु भएको हुनाले त्यो मृत्यु भएको थाहा पायो। यता चाहिँ के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि ज्योतिषलाई एकदम फाइदा हुन्छ। उसलाई चाहिँ एक काम दुई पन्थको कुरा हुन्छ, अथवा एक पन्थ दो काज, एक पन्थ दो काजको हुन्छ। त्यो दिन उसलाई चाहिँ के भयो, उसले आफूले चाहिँ जुन आजसम्म त्यो मान्छे मरेको कारणले आफूलाई चाहिँ ल जेलमा हाल्छन् भन्ने डरले अब भागिरहेको मान्छे, त्यो मान्छे जीवित रहेछ भन्ने कुरा थाहा पायो। अर्को कुरा उसको चाहिँ जुन फलित ज्योतिषको चाहिँ उसले हेराउने चराउने काम गर्छ, त्यो हेराउने काम चाहिँ उसले गल्ती गर्थ्यो, त्यो त जानेको थिएन नि त, तर चाहिँ त्यो मान्छेको अगाडि उसले चाहिँ सही हेराउँदो रहेछ भन्ने पनि थाहा भयो। पछि उसलाई कमाइ पनि भयो त्यो दिन, र चाहिँ अब ठुलो बोझबाट ऊ मुक्त भयो। किन भन्दाखेरि जुन बोझको कारणले ऊ त्यो ठाउँ छोडेर, आफ्नो इष्टमित्रहरू छोडेर, आफ्नो परिवारहरू छोडेर, नातेदारहरू छोडेर, सबै चाहिँ के पनि त्यहाँ उसँग त्यहाँ सम्बन्धै नराख्ने गरी चाहिँ अर्को सहरमा आएर बसेका मान्छे अब त आफ्नो ठाउँमा जाने भयो। अब आफ्नो ठाउँमा जान त नजाला, किन भन्दाखेरि त्यहाँ चाहिँ त्यो मान्छे गयो भने त अब त्यहाँ त उसले फेला पारिहाल्छ। जो गुरु नायकले फेला पारिहाल्यो भने त फेरि चाहिँ त्यहाँ उसको जीवन लीला त त्यहीँ समाप्त गरिदिन्छ। ऊ नजाला, तर जुन अपराधको चाहिँ एउटा दाग चाहिँ ऊ माथि लाग्थ्यो, जुन अपराध, जुन एउटा मान्छे मारेको, ज्यान माराको जुन एउटा दोष उसले चाहिँ अब अपराधीको चाहिँ दोष बोकेर ऊ हिँडिरहेको थियो, त्यो हिँड्नु त पर्दैन नि त। अब त ऊ स्वतन्त्र भयो, उसलाई त ठुलो भारी बिसाएको, ठुलो तनावबाट मुक्त भएको भन्ने अनुभव भयो। अनि आफ्नो श्रीमतीलाई पनि यो कुरा भन्न चाह्यो, किन तपाईँ ढिलो आउनुभएको आज भन्यो भन्दाखेरि आज यस्तो यस्तो पर्यो। अनि भने आज त मलाई त धेरै आनन्द छ बुढी, किन भन्दाखेरि धेरै वर्ष पहिला मैले चाहिँ यसरी मान्छे मार्ने एउटा भनेर चाहिँ मान्छे त्यसरी मान्छेलाई त्यसरी चाहिँ छुरी धसेर छोडेको थिएँ, मऱ्यो कि भनेर चाहिँ त्यही डरले म त्यो ठाउँ छोडेर यहाँ आएँ, यहीँ आएर तिमीसँग बिहा गरेँ, यत्रो घर बनाएँ, यत्रो घर बसियो, अब अहिले यही पेसा गरेर यहाँ बसिरहेको छु, तर त्यो मान्छे मरेर रहन्छ। आज त यस बेला साँझ पख ठ्याक्क देखा पर्यो साँझमा, अनि साँझमा देखा परेपछि उसले त मलाई त राम्रोसँग चाहिँ चिन्न सकेन, तर मैले चाहिँ उसलाई ठ्याक्कै चिनेँ। अनि मैले सही चिन्दाखेरि उसबाट चाहिँ उसले एउटा झन् जति दिनुपर्ने हो त्यति रकम चाहिँ मलाई दिन त दिएन, तर आज चाहिँ मेरो राम्रो कमाइ भयो। अनि मेरो राम्रो कमाइ पनि भयो र मेरो चाहिँ जिन्दगीको ठुलो भारबाट पनि म अहिले अन्त भयो। म यो ठुलो भार बोकिरहेको थिएँ, त्यो भार मैले चाहिँ अब मेरो काँधबाट गइसकेको छ, त्यस कारणले म धेरै खुसी छु। हो, तपाईँले त्यसो गरेको? उसले वास्तवमा आफ्नो श्रीमतीलाई भनेकै रहन्छ। उसको श्रीमतीले आफ्नो श्रीमानले चाहिँ गरेका श्रीमानका विगतका कर्महरू, उसका श्रीमानका विगतका सङ्गतिहरू, श्रीमानका विगतका केही कुरा पनि उसको इष्टमित्र एउटा चाहिँ दाजुभाइ होइन कोहीको बारेमा जानकारी नै नदिएको, यसरी मान्छेलाई गुपचुपमा राखेर होइन, यसरी चाहिँ मान्छे अपराधीले एउटा चाहिँ के गरेको छ, एउटा ज्योतिषको चाहिँ आवरणमा मान्छेहरूलाई उल्लु बनाएको छ। ऊ जाने भए त ठिकै थियो, न चाहिँ उसले चाहिँ ज्योतिषको ज्ञान लिएको छ, न त्यो सम्बन्धी त्यो नक्षत्रहरूको ज्ञान छ, न केही छ। ती चाहिँ सबै कागजातहरू केही चिजहरू अगाडि राखेर अनि तिनीहरूको अगाडि चाहिँ त्यस्तै गमे चाहिँ पारेर अनि हेराए चाहिँ गरेर भाग्यफल ज्योतिष चाहिँ देखाएर अब चाहिँ भविष्यको जानकारी दिने काम गर्न थालेपछि मान्छे अचम्म हुँदैन हो। यसरी मान्छेले मान्छेलाई कसरी उल्लु बनाएको छ, सहरमा मान्छेहरू कसरी उल्लु हुन्छन्, कसरी सेवाग्राहीहरू अनि त्यसपछि मान्छेहरू चाहिँ उनीहरूले सत्य भनेको मान्छे, सज्जन भनेको मान्छे चाहिँ यस्तो अपराधी हुनसक्छ। कसैले चाहिँ यो गुरु नायकलाई मार्ने अब लगभग मार्नेसम्म पारेर छोडेर आएको मान्छे अनि आएर चाहिँ एउटा ज्योतिष भएर बसिया छ भनेर कसैले भोलि थाहा पाउने भने उसको अवस्था के हुन्छ? के हुन्छ त भन्दाखेरि वास्तवमा सबै समाजमा यस्ता पात्रहरू, यस्ता चरित्रहरू, यस्ता कर्महरू धेरै हुन्छन्। त्यो भएर मान्छेले सत्य काम गर्ने कि असत्य काम गर्ने, अनि यो कर्मको खेल हो। कर्म कुकर्म गर्ने कि कर्म गर्ने, सत्कर्म गर्ने कि कुकर्म गर्ने, यस्ता कर्मको फल वास्तवमा पाइन्छ। जस्तालाई तस्तै ढिँडालाई निस्ते भनेजस्तै त्यहाँ चाहिँ त्यो खालको दण्ड पनि मान्छेले पाउँछ। अब यी कुराहरू गर्दै जाँदाखेरि यहाँ चाहिँ ज्योतिषको एक दिन, त्यो ज्योतिषको एक दिन एउटा रहस्यमय कथा, सनसनीपूर्ण कथा। मान्छेले चाहिँ यो अन्तिममा चाहिँ त्यो उसको श्रीमतीले तपाईँ आज किन ढिलो आउनुभएको भनेर नसोधिया भएर चाहिँ उसले त्यो नभनिया भए यो कथा कसरी अन्त्य हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा अब तपाईँ यहाँ के उसको यो ज्योतिषको बारेमा कसले थाहा पाउनु? यसरी कथाको अन्त्यमा ती दुईटा जुन पात्रहरू, दुई ध्रुवका पात्रहरू, एउटा त्यहाँको हिरो अर्को भिलेन अथवा त्यहाँ मुख्य पात्र र अनि अर्को द्वन्द्व पात्र, यी दुईटै पात्रहरूको बिचमा द्वन्द्व यसरी चाहिँ पहिला यसरी चाहिँ खेलाइएको छ र पात्रहरूलाई चाहिँ यसरी प्रस्तुत गरिएको छ कि अब अलि उज्यालोमा त्यहाँ चाहिँ उसलाई प्रस्तुत गरे भए त्यहाँ उसले चिन्न सक्थ्यो। त्यो भएर घुर्मैलो घुर्मैलो अँध्यारोमा चाहिँ पनि त्यहाँ एउटा त्यस्तो खालको चाहिँ एउटा परिवेश बनाइएको छ। दिउँसोको नभइकन साँझ पखको चाहिँ परिवेश बनाइएको छ। वास्तवमा चाहिँ त्यो गुरु नायकले चिन्न सक्थ्यो। गुरु नायकले चिन्न नसक्ने बनाउनको लागि कथाकारले एउटा यहाँ उनको मुख्य पात्र जुन एउटा ज्योतिष छ त्यो पात्रलाई बचाउनको लागि, उनको मुख्य पात्रलाई बचाउनको लागि र उसको कुकर्म सबैको अगाडि चाहिँ एउटा रहस्योद्घाटन गर्नको लागि चाहिँ उनले त्यो पात्रलाई चाहिँ त्यसरी प्रयोग गरे हुनुपर्छ। ओके, द्याट्स अल विथ द डिस्कसन अफ द समरी. Now here we go with the theme. In R.K.Narayan's An Astrologer's Day, we have the theme of fate, appearance, desperation, fear, guilt, freedom, hypocrisy, identity, inequality, relief, modernization, mysticism, religious tradition, etc. So many themes can be explored. This story has been exploring under different themes. The theme of the story focuses on a single day in the life of an ordinary astrologer who suddenly faces past life in the present drastic situation. The story has a twist in the tale. The otherwise adventureless life of his past life and demands alertness to tackle the situation. The story describes of a single day in the life of the sleepy town of Malgudi. The story also deals with the darker side of human nature, with its hypocrisies, shrewdness, revengeful nature, and selfishness. The characters in the story are no exception to these qualities of human nature. Eventually, all is well that ends well, with which the astrologer, coming out with flying colors in his examination of befooling his opponent, saving his life, and also saw to it that he does not face the man again in future. Fate is definitely a theme in the story. The Hindu idea of karma comes back to the astrologer who had once stabbed a man out of youthful folly. It is ironic that the astrologer recognizes the victim and not the other way around. We learn that although the astrologer had gotten away with the crime, he has been living with guilt for many years. Fate always attends to people regardless of the law and order of man. This is overall the theme. Now, here we have the analysis of the story. The Astrologer's Day is a short story which deals with a day in the life of an ordinary but fake astrologer. The setting of the story is a town Malgudi, which is located in South India near to Madras. It is not a story of contemporary times but pre-independence times when there was East India Company ruling in India. An Astrologer's Day is a story about a man who runs away from his home and pretends to be an astrologer after imagining that he has committed a murder. In a strange situation and ironic twist of the fate, he runs into the very man he thought he had killed. The story deals with a day's events in the life of good for nothing fellow turned into astrologer to earn his bread and butter. A single day brings in his drastic past back before him. Before being a smart fellow, he finally deals with it. The suspense of the story comes to light when astrologer says that a great burden of his life is gone that day. He always felt that he had killed Guru Nanak. So the astrologer had run away from his native village due to the fear of being charged as a murderer. He settled in Malgudi, married, and decided that he would never return back to his native village. Actually, the man who tried to kill Guru Nanak, was the astrologer himself. So, he was able to make accurate predictions about him, though he hardly knew astrology. The astrologer confessed to his wife that in his youth he was in bad company with Guru Nanak. He drank, gambled, and quarreled badly one day and had a fight, and he had almost killed Guru Nanak. This is how life, with its unpredictable twists and turns, had created an astrologer out of a vagabond. The short story, An Astrologer's Day, describes about a single day in the life of an astrologer. The astrologer had left his village due to the fact that he was afraid that he had killed somebody, Guru Nanak. The innocence of his childhood was lost after the incident with Guru. The story has suspense and a twist in the tale towards the end. The story also uses the coincidence factor, where the astrologer is shocked and is hardly able to cope with the situation. His alertness of mind and smartness of an astrologer comes to his rescue. So successful is an astrologer at changing his appearance that not even Guru Nanak was able to recognize him. Finally, he is freed from the burden of killing Guru Nanak. The ironical fact about the protagonist is that the gambler and murderer who is ignorant of his own future has become an astrologer. The writer reveals how the only question needed to be an astrologer in India is saffron clothes, a few charts and tilak, and a keen observation of human nature along with a presence of mind. The astrologer should have been greatly relieved that he is not a murderer after all, and has managed to put Guru Nanak up, and he should not have bothered about how much money he had received it. When he realizes Nanak had cheated him of some money, he is angry. The story presents a man who has a dark past. However, there is a suspense which is untold until the end of the story. At the end, the astrologers and the client's life are reunited and crossed again. The astrologer told the client not to worry about the man who had tried to kill him, the astrologer himself, because he was scared for revenge. The coincidence between the astrologer and the client is something that the reader would never see it coming. This happens when the astrologers and the client lives are reunited and crossed again. They had met before when the astrologer tried to murder the client but failed in the attempt. That coincidence does not only amaze the readers, but it also amazes the astrologer, that to solve the situation tells him not to care about this unknown man for the client, because he was already dead. And now here we have the character sketches. So these three characters, the astrologer, Guru Nanak, and astrologer's wife, are here in the character sketches. Okay, first of all, let's go with the astrologer's character sketch. He is the title character of the story, but we do not know his real name and origin. He is working as an astrologer in a small town in India, although he did not know anything about the field. He ran away from his past after trying to murder a man called Guru Nanak during the drunken brawl by stabbing his one-time friends to his chest. He is sure the man was not dead, but thought that he was dead, since he left him lying on the floor and had his hands full of blood. He was frightened. He didn't do anything about it. Instead, he ran away as a complete coward. With his cunningness, he cheated on his clients by telling them what they wanted to hear. By doing this, he could gain money for his family. His courage with Guru Nanak proves his tricky and sensible nature. His confession as innocent man to his wife shocks her and the readers as well. Okay, Guru Nanak. The second character of importance in the story is Guru Nanak. He is also called the antagonist here. He was a bad companion of the astrologer in what seems to be a friendship that has gone badly wrong. The astrologer not only was afraid of what he felt he might have done, he was also conscious in case he would be charged with murder and in return lose his freedom. He was the astrologer's victim during the drunken brawl. He sought for revenge against the culprit. When the astrologer told about its murder, he ended up thinking about the man who tried to kill him and was dead. He could not recognize the astrologer. It was by chance prediction of the astrologer that made Guru Nanak satisfied. Had the client not been Guru Nanak, the astrologer would have proved a fraud. He was not shrewd, not like the astrologer, to notice his identity. The meeting with the one-time companion could have been disastrous, but it did not. It was good but confidential. Okay. This is the character of Guru Nanak, and here we go with the character of astrologer's wife. The astrologer's wife is, wife's presence comes only at the end of this story, ending part of the story here. The astrologer's wife is a good housekeeper, she is a good mother and good wife, and she is really a good family member. She is family and a responsible woman. She waits for him worriedly uh, when he becomes unusually late that day. She is brave woman, and who was also believing in whatever the husband says. She does not know the past life of her husband. She is cheerful and wants to make sweets for the children with whatever extra money she manages to get. This shows she is a caring mother. At the same time, she wants to check her husband for arriving home late. She listens to the secrets of her husband to his wife. She does not know how a great burden of his life was gone on that day. She is shocked to hear that her husband's confession of attempting to kill a man long time ago. It was the time before they were married and lived in Malgudi. So this is astrologer's wife, is an innocent woman. Here we go with the last part of our today's discussion, that is reader's review. And here in this reader's review you will also find the summary of the story and the perception of a reader regarding the interpretation and discussion of the story. The short story An Astrologer's Day by R.K.Narayan deals with a single day in the life of an ordinary astrologer. His day begins as any other day, but the day ends with unexpected events. When he is about to wind up his business, he meets a rogue character, Guru Nanak, who is a part of his past life of the astrologer. Towards the end, as readers, we receive a shock, for Guru Nanak and the astrologer belong to the same native towns. They were once upon a time good friends and had a quarrel one day. The result was that both were into bad company and had a fight. The astrologer tried to kill Guru Nanak by attacking him with a knife, and when Guru Nanak fainted, he threw him into a nearby well. Fortunately, a passerby saved Guru Nanak. The astrologer left his native village forever and became an astrologer. Thus suddenly he confronts past unexpectedly but smartly tackles the situation. The story contains strong themes that are apparent through Narayan's creative work, including deception, revenge, fate, and the ironies of life. Combining suspense, realism, and thriller genres, An Astrologer's Day, this story has an unexpected ending. The darkness was that was inside the astrologer has disappeared. No longer he is tied down by his past and the mistake that he thought he had made. At the end of the story, there is not only a sense of relief but also a sense of freedom. Now the astrologer can go back to his native village, meet his kith and kin, share his sorrow and happiness on the reunion after a long time. Okay, that's the end of our today's discussion with An Astrologer's Day by R.K.Narayan. I'm sure you got the points. If you have any queries, you can put your ideas in my comment box. I shall be back with other videos. Thank you very much for your time and patience.